go to the actual manual itself and look at the topic development page. Have we got that?
Yep.
Get over. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, there's some questions there that we got to ask ourselves as to. I mean, I suppose the first question is, what is the story, belief, or experience that drives your desire to speak for a living? And I think it would be just quickly around the houses. Does anyone want to give an answer to that? What is the story, belief, or experience that drives your desire to speak for a living? Rob, can we ask you that first question? I know you're very passionate about what you're doing. I have to ask each of you to keep it concise, please.
I just did to bring order to chaos.
Sorry, what did you say?
To bring order to chaos.
Right. Okay. All right. For who?
For folks suffering in chaos.
Right. Okay. All right. I think what we're seeing here is just basically the document. Is that correct?
Yep.
Which is fine. If we can just scroll to where you are. What page are you on, Connor?
We're in module 3.
We're on module 3.
Okay. I think that is, keep going the other way. We're on 2, so we want to go to module 3. We're getting there. We're getting there. There we go. Okay. And keep scrolling, Lisa, please.
Right. So we got it. This is the pencil. Come back up.
That's it.
Come down.
Go back up.
Go back up.
Right.
I'm not sure that we need this
Bingo.
page, but okay. So the question is, what is the story, belief, or experience? All right. Michelle, how would you answer that question?
Make a positive impact in people's lives.
Okay. All right. Bit like what Rob is saying. Good stuff. Okay. Megan, how would you answer that question?
I'm sorry. Which question is it?
What is the story, belief, or experience that drives your desire to speak for a living?
I'm having a hard time following again. Is there a manual where we have a workbook that's editable yet? Did we find that? 'Cause I have a really hard time following the program.
Can you see
way.
this? Can you see this?
Oh, I mean, I'm just not seeing the question. So
There it
I'm
is.
just having a heck of a time following the program. I'm really sorry.
Here's number 1. There's the question.
And I can't see that with my eyesight myself. So does anybody have an editable, did somebody in the class say that they have this book and they're able to open it and edit in it?
You can download it.
Yeah,
Well,
I've tried everything. I just
Well,
thought
I'll tell you what
heard.
we'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do, Megan. We would. I mean, there should be no reason why we cannot convert a PDF to a Word
Yeah, I
document.
can't
We'll
see it. I
or no,
apologize.
We'll find out. We'll find the answer for you, and you will have it next, very early next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Is it-
can I ask you
yeah.
another question? Are you having difficulty with? Do you have visual? Or
Exactly.
sight
So
difficulties?
if you make it bigger, I could see it. So I can't, I just have a really hard time following along without a workbook. Yeah. Which one is it? Number 1 or 2?
Number 1.
Okay, thank you. Message. Is that it?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it says open. What is the story? And then it says open. Okay. What is the story, belief, or experience that drives your desire to speak for a living? Mine is that I have people that are following my podcast that are reaching out to me often, and they want me to come to different places and speak and meet and have me do more content, and they want to meet and learn more about me. So I just thought I would try to develop myself personally and professionally through the program so I could be more of a service, because I'm not able to keep up with the amount of notes I'm receiving from people.
Okay. All
And
right.
I feel bad about
All right.
like, I feel good, but I feel like, oh my gosh. And it's an interesting population. It's college students, it seems like, mostly.
Right. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Thank you for that. Let's go to the next person. Leslie. What is the story, belief, or experience that drives your desire to speak for a living?
Probably the sudden realization that I have knowledge and skills and experience that other people can benefit from. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who else have we got? I'm on the. Lynette, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. So what drives me is my desire to have people experience more joy and satisfaction in their lives, and also to cultivate that as a culture.
All right. Okay. Nicely done. Now, the next question, and this is really the one I think that is really important. And Kevin alluded to this a lot earlier as well. It's not about you, it's about your audience. So I'm not necessarily asking you to know the answer right now, but I think it's very important when you're dealing with a client, and the answer might be different for different clients and different audiences. What do you want your audience to do or believe when they walk away? And I'm not asking you necessarily now for the answer now, but I would ask you to try and script out an answer to that for the next class, because that is one of the questions that we will ask you. And that may change over a period of time as well, and it may also change depending on the audience. Is there clarity in the question? Yeah, everyone gets it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kevin, do you want to contribute?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always think to myself before I give a speech, if it's an hour or a day, I say to myself, what do I want them to know or feel or think about when they're walking out the door? If a news reporter stopped them and said, what was that all about? They're not going to remember 60 slides. They're going to remember maybe 3 main points. And then I try to give them those 3 main points right away, right out of the box, so that I'm not leading up to the 3 points. They get it. They get the good stuff immediately. They're going to get it throughout, and then they get it as a final goodbye. So that when they walk out the door, regardless of how complicated the material was, I know there's really only probably about 3 things that are lingering in their memory. And so that's what I go after. When I teach in Romania, my host believes in having dessert first. Literally at restaurants, she asks for the dessert menu before she asks for the entree. So you don't need alcohol. Everybody's happy. We're all eating sugar, right? And then you order sort of a little bit less entree. So my thinking is give them dessert first, so that people are saying, oh, is that what this is all about? Sometimes we make the mistake when we start by saying, hey, how's everybody today? I just flew in from Chicago. Boy, my arm's tired. Or thank you, Bob. You and I go back a long way. Don't we remember our fraternity days? We do that sort of stupid stuff that takes 6, 8, 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, you'll notice speakers will shift gears and they say something. And when they say something, that's the beginning of the speech. So what I would suggest is dump all that stuff, get right to the dessert right away. Don't even introduce yourself first, because you should have already been introduced, that you wrote by somebody else. And then you don't have to say the title of the talk. They know that. You don't have to say anything about yourself. If there's something, if for some reason, for example, they don't have an introducer, then start with content anyway. And then 5 or 10 minutes later, say, my name is, and I'm happy to be here with you, because they know who you are, because they came. They know what the topic is because they're there. So I think sometimes we make a mistake out of our nervousness of talking about ourselves. And the more you talk about yourself, the more the audience tunes out. The audience wants you to talk about them. Connor?
So Kevin, it's kind of a mantra which a lot of people abide by. You strongly are suggesting it's kind of tell them what you're going to say, tell them, and tell them what you told them. Would that be kind of a good summary of the way you work?
Yeah, that's what Carnegie says. Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But we forget about it because we're not thinking audience. We're thinking self. We're thinking my PowerPoint. Your PowerPoint is nothing more than wallpaper.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to not use it very much anymore because I think it's not very helpful. So I think if you think about what it is that they most need, you're going to be more in tune with them instead of with yourself.
Right. So basically, maybe one thing you could actually look at when you're considering any keynote or speeches or presentations you've got right now, do you follow that kind of a mantra? Tell them what you're going to say, tell it to them, and tell them what you told them. All right. So can we move down a couple of more pages, Lisa, please? I want to go to not to worry about what other people are choosing your topic. Another little bit down here. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Okay, so that page there, if you don't mind for a moment.
We're looking at this chart. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And can you blow it up a little bit further in case Lisa or in case Megan can't see it?
I think if I'll try it one more.
Okay, thank you.
No, I think that's as far as it's going.
Okay, this is.
Hey!
All
right. Yeah, so maybe we just
Oh.
go over to, yeah, excellent. That is excellent. Thank you. Right. So basically what we've got there is we've got expertise, credibility, and passion. And the question is, and this I think is something that Kevin will have thoughts on as well, but basically I think with speakers, they start maybe initially speaking about their expertise and something that they're passionate about. And whatever your expertise is, that's probably going to be the bedrock in which you work to and try and connect with your audience. I think you do have to have a passion for it. And then, as Kevin was indicating with CSP and a few other things previously, you've got to make sure you got some good credibility as well for it. What I would suggest is that you look through this list of topics and ideas here and see if you can, there's more exercises further down that will help you to develop what your topics might be. Now, if we can maybe just reduce that by one, possibly, Lisa, I'd appreciate it.
That's more than one.
Okay. That's good.
Right, but what we got there is basically an example of how it would work. So for instance, what got me initially, the first area that I started speaking on when I came out of corporate, the topic was something I had an expertise in, and that was in food service marketing. I came over, I was VP of marketing with the food service division of Best Foods and then Unilever. So I knew a lot about that. That actually gave me the credibility as well. I could introduce myself as saying a former vice president of marketing, etc., having worked in Ireland, UK, and the United States. And a passionate personality. I have a strong belief in the messages I'm putting across as to how to engage people better, how to build a better teamwork and collaboration, etc. So that was the kind of style that I brought to it. But look at your expertise. Develop a list of ideas that relate to credibility, and then we can look at the passion and personality as well. Kevin?
Yeah, next week I'll be with a conference of 4,000 people. I won't be speaking to all 4,000, but I'll be speaking 3 or 4 times during the week. One of the things they're talking about, some of those people are job seekers. So they're looking for the next part of their career. And one of the fellows that was talking about it the other day said, people want to do this, but nothing on their resume says they can do it. It's just something they want. And so sometimes what we do is we are thinking, I have a passion to speak, but we really have to figure out what's my credibility to speak, what's my experience to speak. And we all have something deep inside. You don't have to necessarily be a presenter for years and years to know that. I think Elaine did a good job of saying to that pretend counter conversation, she had a lot of background. She had a personal story with her parents. That's very engaging emotionally for audiences. So what we have to do is think about, yes, I have a passion, but that probably is going to come after we do the experience, after we do our capabilities, after we have an opportunity. So here's an example, and we'll be talking about this in future sessions, but just this past 2 years, I started posting on LinkedIn twice a month or twice a week. So my admin is in the UK. I write up a series of LinkedIn posts about a specific topic. I send it to her. She posts it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All of a sudden, Now, I have not been a social person for a long time. All of a sudden, I get people who are talking about the little chunks of content that I put on. So I've gotten 5 jobs just out of posting on LinkedIn for about 8 or 10 months. And they're jobs related to the content that I'm telling them that I'm good at. Nobody probably knows what my degrees are in. They probably don't remember what school I went to. What they do remember is that content made sense to them. So therefore, this guy must know something else. And so that's how we start to develop this creativity. If I went on LinkedIn and said, I'm a passionate speaker talking about passion, I really love it, I've been wanting to do this since I was 5 years old, nobody would pay attention to that. But if I give them content, then they can fill in the blanks and say, I wonder if he could speak about this. And then they get in touch with us. So even though we're passionate, we want to do it, it's a life goal, put that maybe later. The first thing we want to do is develop that expertise, or take the expertise we already have, right? I mean, talking about the people that are disenfranchised, the people that are not being listened to, like Rob was talking about, that's content. He's learned a lot by coaching people. So he could start to formulate that even in bullet points that talks about how do you talk to someone who feels like they're at the bottom of the corporate barrel, getting dumped on. How do you talk to, and I'm saying this with respect, how do blue collar people talk to white collar people? And so he already has content. He doesn't have to wait to be famous. And if he did that, I think his expertise and his topic list is going to start to expand. But he already has the information because he has experts who are teaching him, the guys on the ramp, right? So, Connor?
Right. So after this comment, maybe we can just kill the share screen for a few minutes and have some discussion on this. But what we've got up here on the screen right now is, it's titled eSpeakers Expertise Topic List. One of the pieces of homework I would like you to do is, there is a portal online called eSpeakers, spelled like you've got it up there. And eSpeakers has about 13,000 speakers on that website. And these are all of the topics that eSpeakers have got up on their website. You can just maybe scroll down another little bit, Lisa, for a few more topics, I think. Or you can see there's a gazillion topics. What I would like you to do is to go to eSpeakers Marketplace. So Google eSpeakers Marketplace. It will take you to the eSpeakers website where event planners would go and when they're looking for someone. So if they then are looking for someone, let's say with generation issues, is what I'm looking at here right now. They would hit the generation issues button and there will be about 17,900 million speakers come up that speak on generation issues, right? So let's say, all right, a lot of you might be talking about persuasion and influencing, which is another one I see. Click that one and you'll see the couple of hundred speakers that are speaking on that. My request for you in terms of homework would be to go to this list that is on your book, or then go to eSpeakers and so go to this list, see what expertise or topics you think might be of interest to you. Then go to eSpeakers, key that into their search window and see who pops up. What you will then see is that there's a couple of hundred speakers popping up. You can read their profiles. You can read the kind of topics that they're speaking on. You can see what kind of fees they claim they are getting. They're not, they're lying about that. But anyway, what it will do is it will give you a very good insight into the kind of competition stroke marketplace that you are starting to aim for. And as I've said a number of times already, that may change sometime over the next couple of weeks and or months, but it's a really good way for you to understand what the market is about for your segment or topic, who is in it, and what kind of fees might be available in that area. Kevin, your thoughts?
Yeah, eSpeakers, when you join the National Speakers Association, eSpeakers is free. The first level of it is free. And so you can put in all of your speeches, you can put in a profile of yourself, and that will be sent to all the speakers bureaus. There's 400 or 500 of them in the world, I think. That may or may not be helpful right away, because some of our fees are not what they want, because they get paid more money when they have really big speaker fees. But it starts to get you known among other speakers. It also allows you to start to see the workings of, even if I am only speaking here for this amount of money, put it in, because over time for the certified speaking professional, you need 5 years of that. It'll just come right out as soon as you print it out. So eSpeakers can be very, very helpful. Also, when you see some people that are in your area, go to their website and see how are they marketing themselves. When you hear that somebody wrote a book, this is a really good piece of information. When you hear somebody wrote a book about your topic, go to Amazon, but don't click on the book. Look at the reviews for the book. What are the readers saying was important about that book to them? Once again, you're being audience focused instead of author focused. And then when you do that, you're going to start seeing what that community of believers believes about the person who wrote that book and about the topic that they wrote. So this is a great way to start figuring out in between our sessions to make a hobby of doing this. We tell, when we advise job seekers about jobs, we say, why don't you interview someone who has the job that you want, not to get their job, but to find out what's that job like. A fellow was going after to be a chief medical officer, and he said to me once, I want to be a chief medical officer, but I don't want to deal with misbehaving doctors. I said, that's all they do. So he said, really? I said, yeah. So how many times do we do that? We dream about what it might be like. Gee, that must be really romantic and wonderful. But you talk to somebody and you find out, oh, is that what it's like? So be thinking about how you can start to give yourself some expertise about what other people are doing. Connor,
Right.
you want to explain what's up there?
Kevin, really
Yeah.
quick, I have a question.
Yeah.
And this was just when I journeyed out to become a speaker professionally as well. I asked a lot of people, where do I go? Is eSpeakers the place to go? Is this the authority also for the directory?
eSpeakers is the database for speakers.
Okay.
So I use it, for example, I enter all my talks and all my fees. So at the click of a button, I can find out how much money I'm making this year, how much money I'm grossing this year. It's very different than netting. And then if a bureau wants to see what I'm like, I don't have to contact them directly. eSpeakers, eSpeakers sends my profile to them. So my profile on their website is from eSpeakers. And if I want to meet another speaker or get their address or phone, eSpeakers is the contact database for the National Speakers Association. So it's not anything I've never gotten a job from eSpeakers. I've never made money off of eSpeakers, but it's very helpful for me to be on eSpeakers because it helps me with all the data that I'm collecting.
Okay, so it's the way you keep your different things organized.
Yes.
For yourself.
Yes.
So it's almost like your virtual office.
Yes.
Your portfolio for people to see.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like your website. Okay, got it.
Well, what we
And-
can do is we'll key in Kevin O'Connor in a second, but basically what I've done here is I just got onto eSpeakers.com/marketplace, did a search for customer experience or customer service. All right, these are the pages that pop up. What eSpeakers is saying, as you can see there, is that's 1,759 matching speakers for the topic of customer experience. My suggestion to you is that whatever topic you're doing your search on, so let's have a look here at Shep Hyken, who's one of the gurus We could hit his profile. Let's see if we can do that. Right, Shep's profile is going to come up in a second. What I'm encouraging you to do is to look at the kind of tagline that someone like Shep would have. Look at he's an expert on customer service, customer loyalty, etc. Then what you've got here is the programs he's doing, his availability, the reviews he's getting, the kind of materials he's offering as well. It is a really good source for you to understand the kind of marketing, the way people market themselves. He's saying he's charging 15 to 25, 25 to 30 for on-site. He's definitely one of the gurus in the place. It's taken him a long time to get there, but
So
it's
he's
basically, yeah.
He's charging 15 to 25 for virtual, so he's discounted to the virtual.
Yeah, right.
Because he's 25 if you're on site. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that's really useful for this e-speakers is that if you look at the reviews that he has got, he's only got 4. That's interesting. But what he has got here is that you can see the kind of clients that he does have that have given him reviews. That'll give you an idea as well as the kind of audiences that you can go after.
Yeah, when you and I are charging 25 grand, we don't need any reviews.
That's right. That's right, Kevin. Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't get out of bed for 25 grand, as you know.
So this is really showing the importance of it's almost like the peer-to-peer LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very similar. It's peer-to-peer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a whole other community.
But
right.
It's only how you use it. So I never use it for that. I use it only for my own stuff. And if I want to contact one of those people, I go to the National Speaker Association and it says book a speaker. And I hit that and it takes me to eSpeakers. It shows me the exact same thing Connor just showed you. So then I can get in touch with Shep if I want and talk to him.
So it's important, like when we go on our speakers engagement, if we're doing favors for people, not favors, but like for free, like what I've been doing. If I have this profile, I may ask them, would you mind doing this, and as part of my contribution to what I'm doing. So that will help.
One thing I would say though, Megan, for everyone here, and this is something I say at the start of every single Speaker Academy, be very slow about what money you spend when you're starting off. A couple of reasons for this. The National Speakers Association has got 2,500 members. Let's say the vast majority of them are ethical and honest people, but there's quite a few people in there who know there's wannabes, newbies in the speaking business that really target them. And I can tell horror stories. I know a number of other NSA Illinois community can tell horror stories about money we spent to promote our career, and it was a total waste of money. So what I'm encouraging everyone here to do is, if you are going to spend any money on your speaking business, either for coaching or otherwise, give Kevin, myself, or someone else in the NSA Illinois, talk to them before and ask them, is it worthwhile? We had one speaker, he won't mind me mentioning his name, Terry, what was his name?
No,
Terry,
don't.
Yeah, Terry,
it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay, because he tells this story. He told it in Speakers Academy. He spent 10 grand going in a PR course for over a weekend. He said it was the greatest waste of space ever. And he also did say that people could have told him, if he'd asked the question whether it was worth going to, it wasn't worth going to. I spent $700 writing up a check for a speaker showcase on one occasion that was supposed to happen in Chicago. The guy sends back a note a few days before it's due to happen saying, we're canceling this. Never got the $700 back from him. I said it to another friend of mine, Johnny Campbell, who actually has passed away because of COVID. And Johnny said, why didn't you ask me about it? He did exactly the same thing to me. So be very, very careful about spending dollars. And the same thing, all this started was that eSpeakers, if you're not a member of NSA Illinois, you can put, it'll cost you maybe $700 or $800 to get up on eSpeakers. I do not think it is worth it. It is a good database for you to find out what's happening right now. Once you're launched and in orbit, that is the time to spend the $700 or $800 with eSpeakers. But I wouldn't spend money right now. Leslie, you've got a question.
Yeah, I have a question about e-speakers. I see that some people have virtually certified above their little picture. Certified by NSA, certified by whom?
E-speakers.
Certified by
By
eSpeakers.
e-speakers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a nice little thing to have. I'm not sure how important it is, but you can actually go to eSpeakers because Kevin and I were members of NSA Illinois and the national members of eSpeakers. We were able to do that little certification for free. But basically all that's required is you go to eSpeakers, you do a presentation for, what is it, a couple of minutes, Kevin, in front of a camera. And basically, if you can walk and talk and not fall over in front of the camera for 2 minutes, they'll say you're a certified speaker. But it's a nice little designation to have at the same time.
I have another question about designations generally. Not being from the US and with an international target audience, I think, how important is an NSA, like does anybody outside of the US really know what a CPS, see, I'm not, a CSP is? Like, is this something that people know outside of the US?
Speakers do, and NSA is part of the World Speakers Association.
Okay.
Canada has their own Speakers Association.
Maybe
I think they call it CAS, or Canadian Association of Speakers, something like that.
CAPS, I think it is. CAPS,
They do CSPs too. There's CSP in Australia, and or CAPS, that's what it's called, Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. And they have conventions and conferences, so that would be a good thing to check in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that feedback because I can't tell you how many people have pitched me in the last 4 weeks. That's why the first thing I did was go to Voice when I found out I have to be doing all this and come to this course, because I've been pitched for tens of thousands of dollars already. And I don't know what is legit. That's why I keep asking.
Yeah.
Is anyone asking you to pay money up front?
Oh gosh, I could go on and on. I'm looking for legit. I'm looking for integrity. I'm looking for certification, and I'm not in a rush to add myself to anything. I'm in the space of the most credible, credentialed, slow journey that can be as professional as possible.
Right. Well, I just reinforce, if someone's asking you to pay money up front for one of these events.
Marketing firms, publicists. I have no website. I didn't even know I had this following.
Right. Yeah. I just send your money to my cousin in Nigeria if you're going to do that, to be honest with you.
Well, that's why I was very, very stringent about, like, are we getting, I loved hearing you guys that you only certify 200 a year or whatever, because it's not even ethical to put people out there that can't really make it in speaking if they can't, right? Or putting me out there if I don't have a good story. But I love that there's all those steps to really develop yourself professionally and to have integrity in an association.
Yeah. Right.
Because there's nothing in an empty bag.
We got about 14 minutes left, I see, at least over here in Ireland anyway. Michelle, question?
For those of us that are going to go to Influence, will there be anything for people that are in Speakers Academy there?
I'll be there. So yeah, we can, I'll have my person call your person, we'll do lunch.
But there's nothing for other, like us to network with other people that are in other academies?
There could be. I don't know that there's anything. I'm on the Chapter Leadership Council for NSA, so I'll bring that up and ask them. Usually the convention is very tightly packed, but people make their own connections that way as well. It's a good thing to go to. Influence is a good thing.
Yeah,
and they do say, sorry, Chris, they do say that they'll give you a badge that says newbie or first timer, and I think there's a first timer orientation as well.
There is. Yeah.
NSA Illinois will also have a community there. I think Meg Bucaro is working on kind of a welcome get together for members and friends.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, so Kevin, do we want to do a round the houses quick wrap up? You take it?
Yeah, I'm interested in what all of you noticed about the presenters today. And that means pretty much all of us, not just Chris and Elaine, but what did you notice about each other when you were on camera or on the microphone? What did you notice about your buddies here? So because being self-aware is important, being other-aware is important. What did you notice about other people today? It's always best to be the first one to talk.
I'll go. Pick me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, maybe because I'm so insecure about it, but I've really noticed people's camera, like their background, their lighting, like Michelle's eyes. You can see Michelle's eyes really well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like looking at everybody going, okay, and I don't really know what mine looks like. I don't know what I like, what I need to change yet. So for me, it's more of a visual thing that I've noticed.
Good, thanks. Somebody else?
I noticed the passion of, what was her name? Sorry.
Elaine?
Elaine truly had passion for what she was talking about. I want to know more of her story, actually.
Yeah. Me too. Somebody else?
I'll say this, but I think I've already expressed it. There's a lot more to this than I could have imagined.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell me something we don't know.
I mean, I'm just like, I'll be honest, I'm so overwhelmed to like, oh my gosh, from here to, even though like I've been speaking my whole life kind of, right? But the behind the scenes business is just, it's a whole nother beast that I didn't realize.
Yeah, good. Somebody else?
I like the Irishman keeping time.
I gotta get to the pub, Lisa. It is almost 6 o'clock here in Ireland.
And not just the end, but all, throughout.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that.
I always let my audiences go 5 or 10 minutes early when I'm speaking to doctors, and you would have thought I gave every one of them $1,000. So funny. Yeah. Somebody else? Lisa, is that a fake background, or is that actually your beautiful home?
Well, it's actually our beautiful intergenerational family home.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Well, looks, I got you. You're not seeing the two sides. Where
Maybe that's good.
Right. Okay, Rob, you any thoughts on what you've seen today?
Yeah, it was spot on with what I was aiming for, where a lot of concepts that just kind of erode away with life going on, and definitely got a lot of notes of not only where I could be going, but where how to consider things. Christopher had some amazing stuff there, and as well as Elaine. Elaine really hit a lot of spots for me. So yeah, it was really good.
Right.
Rob, have you ever thought of going into politics in Chicago?
Dude, seriously?
Seriously.
I'm thinking about running for mayor. There's a guy at work running for we got one guy is running for state senator. He just got his signatures in last week, and I wouldn't trust him with a wet paper bag. I don't know even if he knows the alphabet. And then another dude, he's unemployed because he wouldn't get vaxxed, and he's going to run for mayor, and he's got a Facebook page. And I'm like, if these idiots are running for, I gotta see.
Totally. Yeah. Because you call it like it is. I just, of course, that could mean that you're not going to win.
Right. But again, it's you're not going to. Am I afraid of a yes or am I afraid of a no? Maybe.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. But I mean, you haven't got a chance of being elected, Rob. If you're an honest guy, there's no chance in Chicago politics. So you need to rethink that. But let's see, what else have we got to talk about? Basically, what we want to do is next week we're going to be talking about sales and marketing.
Right.
Taking what Megan was saying, I wouldn't be surprised that some of you are kind of overwhelmed at the moment. That is a regular comment that we do get. In the last week, to develop my business. Okay, you got. I'm breaking up here a little bit. Were you able to get that question?
No,
No. All right. All right. Hopefully, we'll try it again.
Going down, buddy.
Even worse than that.
maybe you could put it in the chat. How's that?
The engines are going
All
out,
right.
buddy.
You keep talking there, Kevin. Okay.
Okay, so he's gonna put it in the chat. He's already had some Guinness. This is what happens. So I'm not gonna be with you for the next 2 weeks because I'm working, but I am available to you over the next 2 sessions regardless. So you can email me, you can call me. If you have questions, that's another thing to do but I won't be at the sessions. We have guests coming in on both of them like we did today. That'll be a regular routine every time we meet. You'll have a chance to talk to each other. It's also okay to think of this as your cohort. And so don't ever feel odd about asking one another to join a Zoom call together in between our classes and say, I had some more questions, and to talk to one another. So that's what we do with our peers. I belong to 3 mastermind groups. We meet regularly. We are competitors, but we are non-competitors when it comes to sharing information. So they're going after the same clients that I am sometimes, but we share information dramatically. And that's what'll happen when you go to the convention. If at NSA, if you go there, people just give you all kinds of stuff that works for them. Hopefully it'll work for you. The thinking is, don't worry about your piece of the pie, work to build a bigger pie. That's kind of the motto of the organization.
We use that in negotiations.
There you go.
Can I take a minute to pick yours and Connor's and Christie's brain on this? Because actually I can answer next year's class. What am I doing this week to build my business?
Yeah.
I'm going to a conference that hires for the states for my industry.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I actually have been awarded like a 10-minute time slot where I can present, basically showcase my skills.
Yeah.
Following up on that, phone calls, emails, handwritten notes.
Sure. Yep.
What,
Yes. In the 10-minute spot, most people that do a 10-minute spot start talking about themselves.
no.
And what we need to do is talk about the problems that those state people have for their people.
That's what I'm doing.
And then that's when you at the end you can say, I'd be happy to take your cards, here's my information. That's when you get a deluge of people coming because they think that you understand what's going on with them. So yeah, gee, that's great. 10 minutes, that's terrific.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Just
But
trying to figure out the best
you're a
way.
networker, so you know how to do all the networking stuff and talking to people and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, just follow up. I was just trying to figure out how to build those relationships.
the other thing you can do is to say, I have a white paper that I've developed on blah, blah, blah. If you would like a copy of that for free, please give me your card. And then you have their email. It's more important that you have their email than that they have yours.
Yeah.
So if you offer this thing, quote, for free, a white paper, then that can be very useful because that's going to get sent out to a lot of people. So
Content
you.
marketing,
I'm sorry, what did you say, Christy?
content marketing.
content marketing, right?
Yeah.
Are you
Okay,
back, Connor?
so what we'll do next week, we're going to be talking about marketing to a certain extent. Is it marketing next week? Kevin, I can't remember at this stage. We got. I know we got Ali Pleiter coming in. No,
Yep.
it's not marketing next week. It's,
Sales and
we're
marketing?
We've got Ali Pleiter coming in, who's a former NSA Illinois. Yeah, all right. So she gets doing sales. She'll be talking about how she's built her business. We're also going to go a slightly different direction in that we're going to have a presentation or a workshop on a component of our business and be able to understand how we can connect with all different audiences and not get ourselves in trouble as well. That is really critical. So Shanita Alcantande, who is a board member for NSA Illinois, will be kind of monitoring a panel discussion on that as well. Any final thoughts before we do a wrap this evening, afternoon, whatever time it is over in your place?
He really is going to the bar.
he probably isn't, unfortunately. But as I said to Kevin, I've been here since Thursday and I haven't had 1 pint of Guinness yet, apart from the 4 I had on Thursday night. But
Look what just came, Connor.
hey, very
FedEx.
good, very good. Right, okay. So Leslie, you okay? We'll see you next week. Yes. Yeah, Megan, we'll see you next week. You okay?
I just wanted
So,
to.
and we'll get the document out to you somewhere or another. All right, way to go, lady. Yeah, Michelle, best of luck with your. Have you got the presentation this week? The 10-minute.
Yep.
Best of luck to you with that. And we'll see you next week, and you can tell us how it went.
Thank you.
Mr. Rob Gohan. Yeah.
I'm a member of the Ancient Order of Iberians as of 2 weeks ago.
All right, very good. And
Right.
Lisa. Yeah,
I'll be back.
we'll see you next week.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay, everyone. Thanks a million. Thanks, Kevin. And we'll see you shortly. All right. Take care.